does justification mean? If you're making justifications like these, there are two things you can learn about yourself. First, you don't have enough self-control. These justifications are produced by that war between your conscious and your unconscious. If your conscious mind is winning, you create reasons why your work is more important than your distractors. If your unconscious mind is winning, you do the opposite. You create reasons why your distractors are more important than your work. So, if you're making justifications, your unconscious forces are winning the war in your brain. That means you don't have the self-control to keep your unconscious at bay. Your conscious intent isn't strong enough to stand on its own. That's one thing you know. The second, according to Jordan Peterson, relates to your work. If you're making justifications, if you're struggling with self-control, you may be working on something you don't care about. You may not invested in or passionate about the work in front of you. Self-discipline and motivation do not work in every situation. Even if you're a disciplined person, you can only be disciplined about specific things because discipline requires motivation, passion, and energy. If you're bored by your work, how can you develop enough passion to succeed? Take this example. Imagine your family pushed you to go to a medical school. Medical school is a huge undertaking that requires countless hours of rigorous study. But you find yourself struggling to focus. Every assignment is a frustrating slog. Every textbook is a never-ending bore. It doesn't matter how rewarding this profession is. You may be surrounded by motivating people, following a path towards a meaningful character. But if you don't want to be a doctor, none of that matters. If you are not personally and emotionally invested in medicine, you won't be able to focus. You struggle to stay disciplined. Your conscious intent will always lose to your unconscious forces. Self-control. If this sounds familiar, you may need to reconsider your direction in life. You may need to reflect on the choices you have made and why you made them. For now, let's assume you're on the right path. Let's assume you're passionate about your work. It's worthwhile. It's inspiring. It's the reason you get up in the morning. Yet, you still struggle with discipline and self-control. You still cannot resist the unconscious forces pushing you away from your work. Where does that self-discipline come from? What's the recipe for greater self-control and personal management? How do you bolster your conscious intent while silencing the other dogs barking for your attention? Jordan Peterson gives a simple answer with a complex action plan. At the root of self-discipline, he explains, is practice. Every habit, good and bad, is created through practice. Take your bad habits. You get into those harmful behaviors because you have practiced them. You've practiced pouring yourself a cup of coffee in the morning. You've practiced checking your social media accounts instead of working. You've practiced ignoring your responsibilities because you've practiced these things. You're very good at them. And they loom large in your mind. Your lack of discipline therefore displays a long-standing pattern of laziness and neglect. But how do you turn your bad habits around? Jordan Peterson likens discipline to learning the piano. If you want to learn an instrument, you have to practice. In the beginning, you won't be able to improvise. You won't be able to play a song or write one of your own. So instead, you'll learn the basics. You'll gradually understand notes, chords, and scales. You'll grasp more complicated rhythms and patterns. You'll have to practice those hundreds of times. Only then you'll be able to develop the skills and knowledge to improvise or innovate.